Hi, this is Maite and I'm a postural alignment specialist. And in this video I want to talk about the number one question that is asked when I do a postural alignment assessment for someone. So part of every session with a client includes a postural alignment assessment where we take a look at where all your joints are positioned in relation to each other and to what extent there are deviations in your body's structural design. We use images of your body for that. We also draw stick figures to really accentuate the lines, and sometimes just seeing those images can be quite shocking for a person, because suddenly it's like you can see it, and you can just, by looking at the images, by looking at the stick figures, you like intuitively understand that, okay, this is not okay, this is a problem, this is not how my body is supposed to look. This is not how my body is supposed to function. And then the question that comes up is, well, how did it get this way? You know, how did I get here? And, you know, there's no one answer for that question, obviously. You know, everyone's got their own history, everyone's got their own life events. But a red thread throughout is a very simple answer, a very basic answer, which is that in today's age, with our current technology levels, the way most people go through life, most people's lifestyles, we're chronically motion deprived. So what do I mean by that? Okay, so if you look at the human body's design, if you look at the joints and what they're capable of doing, if you look at the muscles, our bodies are these motion machines. Like, I mean, we are meant to move. And if you look at the history of, you know, human beings, we were meant to move to be able to hunt for food. You know, we had to move to gather food for safety purposes. To get from A to B, everything required movement, and it required a range of movement. Now, what we've been seeing, you know, in the past century, but especially in the last few decades, with the amount of technological advancement, it's had a very interesting effect on the extent that we move. Now, a lot of the technology we use today is meant to make our lives more convenient. It's meant to save time, it's meant to save on effort, but it's also saved on movement. You know, and it's like a side effect that was perhaps unintended, but that we're now starting to see a lot of the consequences of. For instance, back in the day, you wanted to park your car, you had to lift the heavy garage door up from the bottom all the way up. Now you don't have to do that, you just press a button. If you wanted to change the channel on the radio, you had to get up and move the button. Now you don't have to do that. If you're watching TV, you don't have to move, you have a remote to do everything. If you want to park your car, you don't even have to do your back bend anymore, because there's a rear view camera that you can just stay motionless, look at it, and park your car. So all these things, while they are, you know, nice to have and have improved our quality of life, generally speaking, they've also had an adverse effect where we've saved so much motion that there's a lot of ways in which we naturally used to move, the way our lives simply required us to, you know, move certain ways, you know, reach, look back, go down on the floor, go under things, go over things, that simply we don't do anymore. We don't have to. If you look at, you know, history, the way people used to naturally move the most is through work and through play. But these days, you know, most people at work, they sit at a desk or they stand. There's not that much movement involved, and to get to work we use a car, we use transportation. You don't have to move all that much. In terms of play, it's the same thing. You know, our entertainment is rather stationary these days. Most people know there's sports. Yes, a lot of people still participate in sports. But aside from that, you know, we watch TV, we play computer games, we're busy on our phones. We're busy on our phones a lot. And, you know, one of my theories is that we haven't really noticed the extent to which we are motion deprived, because we get a lot of motion stimulus in a kind of different way, you know, where if you're watching TV, there's a whole lot of movement happening. There's lots of scenes, there's lots of light flashing. It creates the perception of a lot of movement. When we're going through our social media feed, we're constantly moving through so much information. It's like flick, 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 flick. It's actually like internally, it creates a perception that we're moving through so much information. We're constantly busy, we're constantly active. But in terms of our bodies, they're just sitting there, you know, they're not actually physically receiving the inputs that our bodies need to be able to continue thriving, to be able to maintain its functions. Not only the, you know, the actual muscular and tendons and joints, but also, you know, the nerves, our digestive system, our cardiovascular system. You know, our bodies are connected. So if one part of our body, the voluntary part of our body, is not really being challenged and maintained the way it should, then it's obviously going to have an effect on all our other systems too. I mean, it works together. So while there's big life events that do happen, you know, like there's injury, or you had to go into a cast and you couldn't, you know, exercise for X amount of time, or a total change in lifestyle, like children come along, or you know, anything like that, where there's some big changes, they most certainly do have a big impact. But in terms of our baseline, and our baseline with movement, our baseline with motion, the extent to which our bodies are being challenged every day, the extent to which we simply use our bodies in our lives, that's been severely compromised and diminished. So another way to look at postural alignment training is to see it as a movement supplement. Same as, unfortunately, the quality of our food has degraded over time, you know, through, you know, multiple factors. I mean, I don't have to go into that now, but, you know, it's a general awareness that we have that our food today is not the same as it used to be. There's a lot less nutrients in it. We're, you know, it's quite deprived of a lot of essential things. So yeah, a lot of us do have to supplement our food intake with supplements. And it's the same way with movement. We have to supplement our lives, our lifestyles with movement, because technology is not going anywhere. Sitting is not going anywhere. So we have to work with this, create a balance. And with postural alignment training, what's neat about it is that, you know, we really assess your body, where your body is at, and your specific deficiencies, so to speak, in terms of the kind of movement that your body's been really deprived of, and that you need to start adding back into your life to create structural integrity again, to create balance again, so that you can physically thrive, you can physically be at ease, and you can really go through life in the best way possible. Alright, that's my video for today. Thank you for watching. Bye.